Hello again and welcome back to Inside Story. Now, while airstrikes on Gaza continue, Palestinians are waiting for the world to react. But so far, there's not much happening. The UN Security Council has issued a statement calling for restraint on both sides. But many Arabs say this is ignoring the gap between Israel's military power and Palestinian homemade rockets. The EU, the European Union, has held an emergency meeting of its foreign ministers and has called for an immediate ceasefire, but it did not explicitly condemn Israel's use of force. What else should the international community do, and what can we expect from the new US administration, which takes office very soon? Will Barack Obama make any difference? We'll discuss all of those things. We're still joined by our guests in London, Abdul Bari Atwan, and in Beirut, Amr Hamzawi. Amr Hamzawi, can I ask you first of all, Secretary General to the Arab League, Amr Moussa, said that Arabs should take the Israeli attacks to the UN Security Council, even if the US vetoes it. Is that a smart way forward, do you think?
Well, it's part of needed diplomatic activities which Arabs have to do. The question is whether those diplomatic activities are enough. They are definitely not, because all of us can expect what's going to happen at the Security Council. The US will block it, probably Great Britain might block it, France might block it, so we are going nowhere. But there are needed diplomatic activities which make a point to the international community that Arabs stand behind Palestinians and are opposed to the Israeli attacks on Gaza, which have been going on now for some days. But limiting Arab efforts to simply diplomatic activities, be it regionally, as the ones which we are following as of now, Egyptian, Turkish initiatives coming from elsewhere, calling for an urgent Arab summit, or going to the Security Council, is by no means enough to stop Israel from killing Palestinian civilians. What is needed is for Arabs to find a united position and to move beyond their differences and their conflicts between their governments, and to unite behind the Palestinians and try to press Israel to stop. But as Abdul Bari said at the very beginning, unfortunately, it's unlikely to happen. It's unlikely to happen for different reasons.
Well, Abdul Bari Atwan, Amr Hamzawi there mentioned this Turkish initiative, and Turkey have stepped in indeed to try and broker peace. They were and have been the go-between between Israel and Syria. And they right now seem to be visiting everywhere other than Israel. Can we hope for anything from this tour by the Prime Minister?
I'm surprised why the Turkish Prime Minister is intervening. This is an Arab problem. This is the responsibilities of the Arab leaders who are supposed to meet to sort it out. I believe the Arabs, if they have...
But the Arab leaders aren't doing much to deal with it, are they?
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. You know, they don't want to do anything. They have a lot of strong cards. They can use it effectively if they want to do. For example, now the whole international community trapped in two unwinnable wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the Europe and the United States in particular, they are in need of the Arab help in order to get out of this mess. Also, we have credit crunch. We have financial crisis. The Arab, the only or one of the few region who got the money which can help to bail out the West and the United States from this crumbling economy. So they have a lot of pressure. Also, the security coordination with Europe, with the United States vis-a-vis the war against terrorism. If the Arabs said, look, we are not going to help you, we are not going to coordinate with your security while our people are massacred. If they issue a warning to the international community, to the United States, to Europe, saying, look, if you don't intervene, stop these massacres, we are going to actually take different position. We will not cooperate in preventing these illegal immigrations to Europe. We are not going to fight Al-Qaeda with you as you ask us to do. We are not going to help you in negotiating with Taliban in order to bail you out of this mess in Afghanistan. Listen, we are not going to help you to fight Al-Qaeda and radicalism in Iraq. So the Arab have a lot of actually strong cards which they can use it effectively, and instead of saying, we are going to take the issue to United Nations, to the Security Council. This is rubbish. This is nonsense. It's not going to work. So this will inflict a huge embarrassment on the Arab regimes. Now let me bring in
Amr Hamzawi. I can see that I don't think you agree, do you, judging by the shot of you on the screen?
No, I disagree to an extent. I mean, I guess we really have to separate between two levels in terms of actions, political actions, and both levels are much needed as of now. One is definitely to pursue different diplomatic ways to make what's happening in Gaza an international problem. And the international community has so far turned a blind eye, literally a blind eye to what's going on. The U.S. did not put out any statement, any clear statement. Only the spokesman of the White House came out 3 days later saying, well, ceasefire and Israel and the Palestinians, and in fact blaming Hamas for what's going on. The European Union has been silent. Major European capitals didn't speak much about it. So there are much needed diplomatic efforts which Arabs have to conduct. And I would disagree with Abdel Bari that yes, as limited as they are, they make Gaza an international problem. And secondly, there are the assets, cards which Arabs can play out, but we have to frame it in a realistic way. I mean, Arab countries will not stop their bilateral or multilateral cooperation with different Western countries, but they can use what they have, financial, political assets, economic assets, to press on Western capitals to interfere. I mean, we know that only the US and probably to an extent Europe can press Israel to stop the current massacre. Israel will never listen to Arabs if they just go and say, well, please stop. So we have to use our assets, but it needs to be framed realistically. Finally, I do agree, in fact, that Turkey is not an Arab actor, and the question is legitimate, what is Turkey doing? But Turkey is using its diplomatic significance and its relations to Israel, bilateral relations, which have been well established and very strong over the last years, trying probably to influence Israel to an extent. So I see no harm in Turkey intervening as long as it plays with Arab countries, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and whoever else wishes to become active diplomatically.
Well, Amir, there you said that the US administration probably has the most power to press Israel on this. Abdel Bari Adwan, the new US administration takes office on January the 20th, just a matter of days away. Is not going to make any difference, though, is it?
No, it will make a lot of differences. Here, you know, the Israeli actually are embarrassing their allies in the United States and in Europe. That's why we can see some European movement here. The European, they know the danger. If, as you know, if this conflict is going to last, there will be more repercussions, which will reflect it badly in Europe. We share the Mediterranean with Europe. I don't know whether Dr. Amr Hamzawi is realizing that it is not, we are not discussing the settlement, we are not discussing the border crossing here, we are discussing, a massacre taking place. We cannot wait for diplomatic process to take, weeks, maybe months. We have to act as soon as possible to save lives of people, to lift the sanctions. It is a human catastrophe taking place. We cannot, the Arabs should actually exert real pressure in Europe and the United States to move. If they are not moving, I don't now, and because of the Arab pressure, because of the Arab warning, because of that catastrophe which actually will inflict in Europe and the region and the whole international community, you can see that those people are dying. 400 people killed until now, 2,000 injured.
But with respect to Abdel Bari Adwan, with respect, people have been saying that people should act now, immediately, urgently, for years, and nothing has happened, has it?
No, it's too much now. We have to exert the pressure on the Israeli allies to act as soon as possible to put an end to these massacres. Enough is enough, and we cannot just wait and see as witnesses, as spectators. No, we have to act, and I believe this is the time to put an end to this miserable situation.
Amr Hamzawi, okay. When this campaign is over, is there any way that we will be able to say that we have stepped forward in any way, or have we just gone hurtling backwards as is apparent, do you think?
Well, definitely we are going backward, and we are going backward in a very rapid way, and in a terrifying way if you look at it. We are looking at a regional environment where it's going to be extremely difficult for any Arab country, be it moderate, radical, regardless of how we classify them. It's going to be very difficult for Arabs to speak about peace initiatives, to reach out diplomatically to Israel in any substantial way. It's going to be very difficult for the Palestinians, assuming that it will take some time for them to clarify and to end their inner fighting and inner conflicts. it's going to be very difficult for them to resume negotiations or to get out with a clear negotiating offer to the Israelis, or to listen to whatever offers might be, if any, might be given to them. So we are looking at a regional environment which is definitely less preferable to peace negotiations and peace settlement as before the Gaza operation. Secondly, we are looking...
We're just running out of time now. I just want to bring in Abdul Bari Atwan for 30 seconds, because that's all we've got time for. Do you have any room for optimism at all?
No, I believe the happiest people now is Al-Qaeda, Taliban, radical Muslim organization, the people who are actually waiting to embarrass the whole international system, the whole Arab regimes. That's what happened. Hamas is stronger now, and it has support all over the Muslim world. So I think the Israelis are completely mistaken when they thought that they can root out Hamas by military means in Gaza. The only means to find a settlement for this is peaceful means, negotiation. They have to negotiate with Hamas. Hamas is a power now on Gaza Strip and also on the West Bank. They have to recognize it and they have to talk to it. This is the only way to get out of this difficult situation.
Well, pessimistic words to end the programme on, but realistic may be. Gentlemen, thanks very much. Abdul Bari Atwan and Amir Hamzawi, thanks very much indeed for your time. And thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. We, of course, welcome your comments and your suggestions. Please do email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. Bye for now.